My fiancé said, "Your mom can't sit at the head table. She'll ruin the aesthetic for photos." I said, "Whatever makes you happy." Then I called the photographer and canceled everything, including the marriage license appointment. The venue refund check I deposited into my mom's account made her take us both to Italy. Original post I, 32 Malv, was supposed to get married in 2 months. Was being the key word. Let me explain how one conversation about seating arrangements ended a 4-year relationship and a $35,000 wedding. My fiancée, Victoria, 29F, and I had been planning this wedding for over a year. Well, mostly her planning while I nodded along and wrote checks. Country club venue, 200 guests, the whole package. My contribution was mainly financial. I made good money as a software architect, and her event planning business was still finding its footing. My mom, Patricia, 58F, raised me alone after my dad died when I was 12. She worked 2 jobs to put me through college, never remarried, and never complained. She is literally the reason I'm successful today. She's also the sweetest, most unassuming person you'll ever meet. She rotates the same 3 church dresses, drives a 2008 Honda, and wouldn't hurt a fly. Last Tuesday, Victoria and I were finalizing the seating chart. She had been stressing over it for weeks, moving names around like pieces on a chessboard. Then she said this. "So, I've been thinking about the head table situation." "What about it?" "Well, traditionally, it's just the wedding party. Bridesmaids, groomsmen, right? But we agreed our parents would sit there too." "Your parents?" "My mom." "About that. I think your mom would be more comfortable at table 3. "Table 3? That wasn't even close to the head table." "I know, but hear me out. The aesthetic." "The aesthetic?" "The head table is going to be the focal point of every photo. Your mom is lovely, but she doesn't really fit the vibe we're going for." My brain short-circuited. "The vibe? You know what I mean. My bridesmaids are all wearing designer dresses. My parents will be in Armani and Vera Wang. Your mom would feel out of place. You saying my mother isn't good enough to sit at the head table at her own son's wedding? Don't be dramatic. She'll still be there, just at a regular table with your aunt and cousins. She'll probably be more comfortable anyway." I stared at her, really looked at her. After 4 years together, I was seeing her clearly for the first time. "Whatever makes you happy." A relieved smile spread across her face. "I knew you'd understand. It's just one day, and the photos will last forever." She kissed my cheek and went back to her laptop, probably focused on perfecting her precious seating chart. I went to the bathroom, pulled out my phone, and started making calls. First call, the photographer. Canceled. I lost the $2,000 deposit. Second call, the venue. I explained there was a family emergency and that the wedding was off. They were surprisingly understanding. Since it was more than 60 days away, they refunded 80% of our deposit, $8,000 back from the $10,000 we had paid. Third call, the caterer. Same story. I got back $4,500 of the $6,000 deposit. Fourth call, the florist. Full refund minus a $500 processing fee. Fifth call, our appointment at the courthouse next week to get our marriage license. Canceled. The whole process took about 45 minutes. By the time I walked out of the bathroom, I had effectively dissolved our wedding. Victoria was still at her laptop, humming to herself. "Everything okay, babe?" she asked without looking up. "Perfect," I replied. That was Tuesday. Wednesday morning, I went to the bank and deposited all the refund checks into my mom's account. About $15,000 total. Then I texted her, "Surprise, pack your bags. We're going to Italy next month. That trip you've always dreamed about." She called me in tears, saying she couldn't accept it. I told her it was non-refundable, a lie, and that I had already taken the time off work. That part was true. I had been saving my vacation days for the honeymoon. Thursday, I started looking for a new apartment. Friday, I signed the lease. Victoria still had no idea. Update 1. 3 days later. The bomb finally dropped Saturday morning. Victoria had invited her wedding planner friend, Cecilia, over to go through the final details. They were sitting in the living room with champagne and binders full of fabric samples when her phone rang. The venue. I was in the kitchen making coffee, but I could hear everything. Victoria? Hello? Yes, this is she. What? What do you mean canceled? That's impossible. Family emergency? What family emergency? She stood up so fast she knocked over her champagne glass. Cecilia was asking what was wrong. Victoria's voice kept getting louder. There must be some mistake. The Blackstone Morrison wedding, February 15th. What do you mean it was canceled by the groom? When? She spun around and locked eyes with me. I took a sip of my coffee. Victoria, I'll call you back. She hung up. The room fell completely silent except for the champagne fizzing into the carpet. Derek, what did you do? Me? Canceled the wedding. A gasp. What? You canceled our wedding without telling me? Seemed like you were making all the decisions anyway, like where my mom gets to sit. This is about the seating chart? Are you insane? No. This is about you thinking my mother isn't good enough for your aesthetic, that she would ruin your photos. Oh my God, Victoria, you didn't. Shut up, Cece. Then she turned back to me. You canceled everything over one comment? One comment that showed me exactly who you are? Someone who values appearances more than the woman who raised me and sacrificed everything for me? Victoria started rage crying. Not sad tears. Furious tears. Victoria, do you have any idea how this makes me look? I've told everyone. The invitations went out. My dress is being altered. My parents. Oh God, my parents. I'm sure they'll understand. Tell them there was a family emergency. This isn't funny. You've humiliated me. What am I supposed to tell people? The truth? That you didn't want my mom in the photos. Cecilia was frantically texting, probably updating the bridesmaids group chat. Victoria's phone started pinging non-stop. You're going to fix this right now. Call them back and rebook everything. Can't. Already got the refunds. Spent them. Spent them on what? Me? A trip to Italy for my mom and me. We leave in 3 weeks. Her face shifted from red to purple. You're taking your mother on our honeymoon? No. I'm taking my mother on her dream vacation with the money that would have been wasted on a wedding where she wasn't good enough to sit with us. Victoria grabbed her phone. I'm calling my dad. He'll sue you for this. That was partly my money too. Actually, if you check our conversations, every vendor payment came from my account. I have the receipts. Your contribution was supposed to be the honeymoon. This was technically true. She had insisted on handling the honeymoon as her gift to us while I covered the wedding expenses. Thank God for that arrangement now. Cecilia whispered. Victoria, maybe you should. Victoria, get out. Cecilia grabbed her purse and practically ran out. Victoria turned back to me, changing tactics. The tears softened. More manipulative now. Derek, baby, please. Let's talk about this. I'm sorry about what I said about your mom. I wasn't thinking. We can put her at the head table. Me? It's not about the table anymore, Victoria. It's about the fact that you thought it, said it, and expected me to go along with it. What happens after we're married? What other aesthetic choices would you make? Would our kids not be allowed in family photos if they didn't look perfect? You're being ridiculous. It was one comment that revealed everything. I'm moving out Monday. Where are you going to go? Got my own place. Signed the lease yesterday. The realization hit her. I'd been planning this for days, walking around the apartment, letting her keep planning, knowing I had already canceled everything. Yep. You're a monster. No. I'm a son who loves his mother. And now I'm your ex-fiancé who's going to Italy. Update to 1 week later. The fallout has been nuclear. Victoria's dad, Robert, called me Sunday night. I knew it was coming. He's a corporate lawyer who's used to getting his way through intimidation. Derek, what the hell's going on? Victoria is devastated. Me? She wanted to hide my mother at a back table because she didn't fit the aesthetic. I decided I didn't fit the aesthetic either. Don't get smart with me. You've cost us a fortune in deposits. Actually, I've cost myself a fortune. Every deposit came from my account. We paid for things too. You paid for the engagement party. Every wedding vendor was paid by me. Check with Victoria. You're destroying my daughter's reputation over a seating arrangement. Me? Your daughter destroyed our relationship when she revealed that she sees my family as props to arrange for photos instead of people to honor. This is embarrassing for our entire family. Then maybe you should have raised her better. He hung up on me. Tuesday, Victoria's mom, Diana, tried a different approach. She showed up at my office. Security called upstairs, and against my better judgment, I agreed to meet her in the lobby. Derek, sweetheart, Victoria told me everything. She admits she was wrong about Patricia. Completely wrong. She's already been to therapy twice this week. Therapy? It's been 5 days. She's taking this seriously. She wants to be better for you, for your future family. There is no future family. Diana's expression tightened for a moment. You're really going to throw away 4 years over this? Yes. That's crazy. You know she loves you. Me? She loves the idea of me. A successful guy who funds her lifestyle and doesn't complain. But she doesn't respect me or my family. Patricia wouldn't want this. She wouldn't want to be the reason. Don't you dare use my mother's kindness against her. Yeah, she'd probably tell me to forgive Victoria because she's that good of a person, which is exactly why Victoria's comments were so vile. Diana pulled out her phone. At least talk to her. She won't eat, she won't sleep. Not my problem anymore. I turned and headed back toward the elevator. Diana called after me. You'll regret this. She was the best thing that ever happened to you. Wednesday was interesting. Apparently, Victoria decided to throw a survivor's party instead of the bachelorette party she had originally planned. She posted all over Instagram about dodging a bullet and how, when someone shows you who they are, you should believe them. The irony seemed completely lost on her. Her bridesmaid squad rallied around her, posting about toxic masculinity and manipulation. One of them, Brittany, wrote a long post claiming I was clearly threatened by successful women and had sabotaged Victoria out of insecurity. My buddy Marcus screenshotted everything and sent it to me. Bro, they're spinning this hard. I didn't care. They could have whatever narrative they wanted. But then Victoria crossed a line. She posted a photo of my mom from last Christmas. My sweet mother, wearing one of her church dresses and smiling at the camera. The caption read, "Some people just can't handle elevating their circumstances. Generational mindsets are hard to break. No judgment though. Know your worth. Stay in your lane." Now I was angry. I'm not much of a social media person, but I made one post. A side-by-side image. One photo showed my mom working 2 jobs and studying with me at the kitchen table when I was a kid. I had scanned it from an old family album. The other showed Victoria's wedding vision board filled with designer dresses and luxury items. My caption: one of these women worked 16-hour days to put me through school. The other wanted to hide her at the back table because she didn't fit the aesthetic. The wedding is off. Use number Team Patricia if you know what real class looks like. It went mildly viral within our social circle. Victoria's cousin even commented, Team Patricia with a heart emoji before deleting it an hour later. Thursday, the flying monkeys intensified. One of her aunts called my mother directly, trying to guilt her into convincing me to reconsider. Mom shut that down immediately. My son makes his own decisions, she told them, and I raised him to recognize when someone shows him disrespect. Then Friday brought a new round of drama. Victoria had apparently been telling vendors that I had stolen money from her and was trying to convince them not to issue the refunds. The venue called me to verify the situation. No, I told them. I have receipts showing every payment came from my accounts. She's just angry. The venue manager sighed. We've already received 3 calls from her father threatening legal action. We just wanted to make sure everything was legitimate. It is. The contracts are all in my name. That evening, I received a text from an unknown number. It was James, Victoria's ex before me. Heard you escaped. Took me 2 years to recover from her. She tried to make me uninvite my sister from our engagement party because she was plus-sized. Said it would throw off the photos. You did the right thing. I took a screenshot of that message too, just in case. Update 3, 2 weeks later, the extinction burst. Apparently, that's what it's called when someone loses control and goes all out. It happened last weekend. Saturday afternoon, I was at my new apartment assembling furniture when I got a call from my mom. She was crying. "Mom? Derek, Victoria's here at my house with her parents." "Me? What?" "Don't let them in." "I didn't. They're on my lawn. Diana keeps ringing the doorbell, and Robert he's taking pictures of my house." I drove over there doing 20 over the speed limit. When I pulled up, sure enough, the entire Blackstone family was standing on my mother's lawn. Victoria was dressed in full makeup and a designer outfit. Diana was holding a bouquet of flowers. Robert had his phone out, recording everything. "What the hell are you doing here?" Victoria ran toward me. "Derek, we need to talk. You won't answer my calls." "Me? Because we're done. And now you're harassing my mother. We're trying to extend an olive branch." Diana stepped forward. "I wanted to apologize to Patricia personally. By ambushing her at her home, we brought flowers and an invitation to lunch at the club." My mom appeared in the doorway. She looked stressed, but stood her ground. "I appreciate the gesture, but I'd like you all to leave." Victoria started crying. "Patricia, please tell him to give me another chance. I'm so sorry about what I said. I want you at the head table. You can even bring a +1. The condescension was still there, even in her apology. My mom noticed it too. "Victoria, dear, I don't need your permission to exist in my son's life. Now please leave my property." Robert stepped forward. "Let's all calm down. No, you're trespassing. Leave now or I'm calling the police." "You wouldn't dare." I pulled out my phone and dialed 911, putting it on speaker. "Hi, I need to report trespassing at this address. 3 individuals who have been asked to leave multiple times." Victoria's eyes widened. "You're seriously calling the cops on us?" The operator confirmed that a unit was on the way. The Blackstones scrambled into their Mercedes and sped off, but not before Victoria screamed out the window. "You're going to die alone, Derek. No one else will ever love you like I did." "Promise?" I shouted back. My mom and I went inside and had tea. She was still shaking a little. "Mom, I'm sorry you're dealing with this because of me." "No, I'm dealing with this because Victoria showed me who she really is. You just happened to be her target. That young woman has some serious issues." "Yeah, and they're not my problem anymore." We spent the rest of the afternoon looking through Italy brochures and planning our trip. Mom had always wanted to see the Sistine Chapel and eat authentic pasta in Rome. We booked first-class tickets because why not, and reserved a nice hotel near the Vatican. But Victoria still wasn't finished. Monday morning, I woke up to 82 text messages. Not from her, she was still blocked, but from various people she had recruited. Her personal trainer, her hairdresser, her freaking nutritionist. All of them telling me I was making a mistake. The nutritionist actually wrote, "Victoria is perfect to marriage material. High-value women like her don't come around often." I replied, "High-value women don't insult their future mother-in-law's appearance." Then came the package. On Tuesday, UPS delivered a box to my office. Inside was a scrapbook Victoria had made about our relationship, a framed photo of us, and a letter that had to be at least 10 pages long. I skimmed it. Lots about our love story, being meant to be, and working through challenges together. Page 6 actually said, "I only wanted the best for our special day. You know I have an eye for these things. That's why you fell in love with me. I make everything beautiful." The narcissism was breathtaking. I threw the entire thing into the office dumpster. Wednesday brought a new tactic. Mutual friends. People who had been completely silent suddenly wanted to catch up. I got 3 separate "hey man, wanna grab a beer" texts in a single day. Tom was the most honest. "Look, Victoria asked me to talk to you. But honestly, after hearing what she said about your mom, I'm on your side. Just wanted you to know." At least some people could see through the nonsense. Thursday brought court papers. Not real ones, just a threatening letter from Robert's law firm about potential damages and breach of verbal contract. My lawyer cousin Ashley laughed when I forwarded it to her. They have nothing. Also, I looked into it. Victoria owes $11,000 in credit card debt, and her business has been operating at a loss for 2 years. She needed this wedding more than you did. That explained a lot, actually. Final update. 1 month later, I'm writing this from Rome. My mom is taking a nap after we spent the morning at the Vatican. She cried when she saw the Sistine Chapel. It was worth every penny of that wedding money. But first, let me wrap up the Victoria saga. 2 weeks ago, the day before Mom and I left for Italy, Victoria made one final attempt. She showed up at my office with her friend Cecilia and someone I didn't recognize, a tall guy in an expensive suit. Security called upstairs. I almost said no, but then I figured I might as well get this final act over with. I met them in the lobby. Derek, this is Nathan. My therapist recommended we meet with a mediator. Nathan? Relationship coach. I specialize in high-value couple reconciliation. I almost walked away right then. High value? Did Victoria tell you why we broke up? Nathan's confident smile stayed in place. She mentioned a misunderstanding involving family dynamics and wedding planning stress. She wanted to hide my mother at a back table because she didn't fit the aesthetic. Nathan's smile faltered. Well, sometimes people say things they don't mean when they're under stress. She meant it. She planned it. She defended it. Victoria, that's not. I was thinking about the photos. Exactly. You were thinking about photos instead of people. Nathan tried to recover. In my experience, most couples can work through challenges like this with the right communication framework. How much is she paying you? That's not relevant. It is if you're wasting both our time. There's no framework that fixes someone who sees my mother as a prop that needs to be hidden. Cecilia jumped in. Victoria's been doing the work. Show him the list. Victoria pulled out her phone and showed me what looked like a note in her app. I made a list of all the things I appreciate about your mom. I glanced at it. Number 3 says, she raised Derek. Well, that's about me, not her. I'm trying. Too late. Nathan stepped forward again. Perhaps if we could schedule a longer session. No. Victoria, this is the last time I'm going to speak to you. Stop contacting me. Stop contacting my mother. Stop sending your family and friends after us. Move on. Victoria's face crumpled. I can't. I love you. You love what I provided. Status, money, a wedding. You never loved me enough to respect my family. I turned to leave. Victoria grabbed my arm. Please. The wedding was in 3 weeks. Everything's ruined. My parents are furious. Everyone's laughing at me. And I already bought the dress. You should have thought about that before insulting my mom. Derek, you're being cruel. No. I'm being done. I walked away. Behind me, I could hear Victoria sobbing while Nathan awkwardly tried to comfort her. That night, she posted on Instagram, "Sometimes the universe removes people from your life to protect your peace. Accepting this lesson with grace." Race, right? The next morning, Mom and I flew to Rome. First class was amazing. Mom kept taking pictures of everything, even the little salt and pepper shakers, so she could remember it all. She said she'd never imagined she would get to experience something like this. We've been here a week now. Mom's having the time of her life. We visited the Colosseum. The Trevi Fountain. Mom made a wish, but refuses to tell me what it was, and more pasta restaurants than I can count. She's picked up a few Italian phrases and charms everyone we meet. Yesterday, we were having dinner at a small family-run restaurant near our hotel when Mom said something that really stuck with me. You know what the saddest part is? What? If Victoria had just been kind, I would have worn whatever she wanted and sat wherever she wanted. I just wanted you to be happy. I know, Mom, but I'm glad you saw her true colors before the wedding. Imagine finding this out after kids. She was right. The bullet I dodged wasn't just a bad marriage. It was years of watching my family get treated like second-class citizens. It was the possibility of my future children growing up believing that money and aesthetics matter more than character. Oh, and there's an update on Victoria. My buddy Marcus sent me screenshots yesterday. Apparently, she's dating Nathan. Yep, the relationship coach. He posted something about how the universe works in mysterious ways and that sometimes you have to lose what you thought you wanted in order to find what you need. They've been together for 2 weeks and are already planning a conscious coupling ceremony for the spring. Nathan's ex-girlfriend commented, "Good luck with that. He owes me $3,000 and cheated with 3 clients." The comment was quickly deleted, but not before half of our mutual friends saw it. Meanwhile, Robert has been telling anyone who will listen that I scammed his daughter out of a wedding. Diana has been posting passive-aggressive memes about men who can't handle successful women. And Victoria? She's selling her wedding dress on a resale site. The listing says, "Never worn. Bought for wedding, ruined by narcissistic ex." She also included our entire story from her perspective, portraying me as the villain who canceled her dream wedding over a tiny misunderstanding about seating arrangements. Someone familiar with the real story commented, asking why she left out the part about insulting the groom's mother. That comment got deleted too. But the best part happened last night at dinner. Mom raised her wine glass and said, "To my son, who knows my worth isn't measured in designer labels." We clinked glasses as the sun set over Rome, and for the first time in months, I felt completely at peace. No wedding stress, no toxic in-laws, no pretentious aesthetics, just me and the woman who truly deserves to be celebrated. Worth every canceled deposit. Worth every angry text. Worth all of it. Tomorrow we're heading to Florence. Mom wants to see David. Now that's an aesthetic worth appreciating. She's not wrong. Edit. Since some people asked, yes, I kept the ring. I sold it last week and used the money to renovate Mom's bathroom. She's wanted a walk-in shower for years. The contractor starts next month. That ring is finally being put towards something worthwhile. Edit 2. And for those saying I should have communicated better, I communicated exactly what she needed to know. Her behavior was unacceptable. When someone tells you that your mother isn't good enough for their photos, there isn't a conversation that fixes that. That's not a communication issue. It's a character issue. You don't negotiate with that level of disrespect. Final thought. If your partner ever makes you choose between them and your family, excluding genuinely toxic or abusive situations, choose the one who has already proven they'll be there for you. In my case, that was the woman who worked herself to the bone so I could have a better life. Not the woman who wanted to hide her because she didn't match the decor. Ciao from Rome.